Joshua Van fights Brandon Royval in what appears to be a title eliminator at UFC 317. Now, this is an incredibly interesting matchup as Joshua Van is getting a massive step up in the rankings, and if he wins this, he is more than likely going to get a title shot against the winner of Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France. Now, a lot of people are high on Joshua Van, including me. He's extremely active, really, really exciting. He's very, very young, and he has a great, great style. And it's very refreshing to see in the flyweight division a new contender establish themselves so quickly. However, I think Brandon Royval is a nightmare matchup for Joshua Van in this division, and here's why. So, we have seen Joshua Van struggle with taller, longer, rangy, dynamic flyweights, right? Van is somehow still small for flyweight. He's 5'5", and he's short, he's stocky. Frame-wise, he's just small, like plain and simple. And he keeps a traditional, like, high guard. Now, Brandon Royval is the opposite. He's long, he's rangy, he's dynamic. He will throw knees, uppercuts, elbows, spinning elbows, flying knees, front kicks, head kicks, just everything in the kitchen sink. And we've seen Van struggle with that, and, you know, and Royval is just excellent at catching people off guard with that kind of thing. And I could very, very easily see Royval timing Van going for a body shot and hitting him with a knee like he did someone like Mateus Nicolau. There is also the thing of Royval doesn't really have any striking defense, which is correct. He doesn't. But name a Brandon Royval TKO loss that isn't him popping his arm out against Moreno. Exactly. He gets chinned, but he's able to recover. It's similar to a Jared Cannonier or a Rob Font, except the difference is when Royval gets rocked, he seems to get more and more dangerous. Like, for example, against Matt Schnell, he got dropped, and then within 30 seconds, he submitted Schnell. Against Kai Kara-France, right, he got dropped the big overhand right, and then while he was still, stumbling, landed a spinning elbow, dropping Kara-France. Royval always remains dangerous. And the thing is, Van isn't a power puncher. While he has had, some impressive boxing displays, he's not laying people out. He is, by trade, a volume puncher. And against Royval, right, it could, work in Van's favor as Royval doesn't have any defense. But he's not going to stop Royval in his tracks. And Royval is a guy that will just keep on coming and chipping away with a bunch of different attacks. And I feel that that's going to have an effect over time, right? I feel like the knees, the uppercuts, right, the front kicks, it's going to make Van very wary to come in and get his combos off. And when he does, which I feel like there's going to be a point in the fight where he's going to be like, okay, I just have to go in and just start a combo. And then Royval's going to probably hit him with something big, like a knee or a front kick or like a spinning elbow or something like that, or even an uppercut. And Van's going to be like, okay, I might have to move back. And the thing is, I would say this fight goes to a decision because you just typically don't see Royval finish people. However, Royval does possess a level of deadliness that is quite unique for flyweight. And Van's chin has, some to be desired. The thing is, when he got finished against Charles Johnson, that was in July of 2024. And he came back about 2 months later, right? And he got rocked multiple times. And I think that's just due to the quick turnaround. However, his chin does, at flyweight, if you're getting, finished by KO, that, it's not a good sign. And Royval possesses a very, very unique set of skills that I've seen affect Joshua Van in a negative way. I've seen Edgar Chairez rock him with spinning back fists. I've seen him get, slept by Charles Johnson by long rangy strikes, and I really do hope that Joshua Van wins because it is a very interesting matchup if he does fight Pantoja, and I actually do quite like his chances in that. But Royval is a very, very tough customer, and you don't get past Moreno and you don't get past Tatsuro Taira without being extremely, extremely crafty. And I think Royval is simply just too versatile, too long, too big, and I think he will likely win this fight by finish. Maybe in the third round where Van has to put his foot on the gas due to being behind on points. There is a world where Van does win and gets his volume off and hurts Royval, but I wouldn't put my money on it. Unfortunately, I really didn't want to make this video because I am a pretty big Joshua Van fan, but yeah, I just think that's how the fight was going to go. My first thought when he stepped in was, damn, kind of wish Van was fighting Moreno instead. But regardless, it'll be a great fight. I think it's getting moved up to the main card, which is wonderful to get some flyweight love on the main card, and I can't wait. So anyway, guys, if you like the discussion, leave your thoughts down below. Flame me for hating on Joshua Van a little bit, that's completely fine. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.